Monday, the 4th of August 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jayama Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashni Patirana. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
CID questions Ranil's private secretary Sandra Pereira for 6 hours over private overseas visit using state funds during his presidency. Supreme Court dismisses petitions seeking to invalidate 7 India-Sri Lanka MOUs signed in April. Yoshita and Daisy's money laundering case delayed again. Support presidents who put the country first, urges SLPP General Secretary. Do not cancel MP pensions as they will struggle financially. A request from SJB MP Sujit Sanjaya. ASPI of the Colombo Stock Exchange crosses 20,000 mark for the first time in history. In your top story tonight, the Criminal Investigation Department recorded a statement for over 6 hours from Sandra Pereira today, a former private secretary to former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, regarding an investigation into a private tour he allegedly took using public funds.
Sandra Pereira, a former private secretary to former President Ranil Wickremesinghe, arrived at the Criminal Investigation Department at around 9 a.m. this morning following a notice from the department's Financial Investigations Unit No. 3. The CID had instructed her to bring information related to foreign trips that took place between the 13th of September 2023 and the 24th of September 2023. Pereira's statement was recorded for over 6 hours and she left the CID around 3 p.m. Meanwhile, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe's secretary at the time, Saman Nekanayaka, has also been summoned to the CID tomorrow in connection with the investigation into a private tour allegedly taken by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe using public funds. On the last week of June this year, the CID, submitting a B report to the Fourth Magistrates Court, said that it had launched a special investigation into a private foreign tour allegedly taken by Wickremesinghe using government money. The police informed the court in the B report that nearly 16.9 million rupees of government funds were spent on the former president's trip to England for his wife's graduation ceremony. The trip took place on the 22nd and 23rd of September 2023 and 10 people accompanied the former president. The police statement to the court said that Wickremesinghe, while on an official tour to Cuba and the United States, flew from the United States to Britain to undertake this private tour.
The Supreme Court today dismissed 2 fundamental rights petitions filed seeking an order to invalidate 7 Indo-Lanka Memoranda of Understanding, which were signed on the 5th of April this year without hearing them. After a lengthy consideration of the facts, the Supreme Court informed that the petitions would be rejected without being heard, citing they lacked facts to file and maintain the petitions. The petitions were called up before a Supreme Court bench of Justices Puli and Priyantha Fernando.
The petitions were filed by a group including Dr. Gunadas Amarasekara with the Attorney General, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers named as respondents. When the petitions were called for consideration, Deputy Solicitor General Nirmalan Vigneshwaram, appearing for the Attorney General, said that he would raise preliminary objections regarding the petitions. President's Counsel Manohara De Silva, representing the petitioners, submitted to the court that 7 memoranda of understanding between the Sri Lankan government and the Indian government were being challenged through this case. He said that the government had refused to disclose information on 2 of these agreements, citing that doing so could be detrimental to national security and Indo-Sri Lankan relations. He also accused the government of fully violating the people's sovereignty, which is vested in them by the Constitution, by refusing to disclose the relevant information, saying that the government had claimed it could not be revealed because the Indian government had requested that the information not be disclosed. Counsel Kanishka Vitarana, appearing for the Vinivida Perumuna, pointed out that by refusing to publish the contents of these agreements, the President had violated the fundamental human rights of the people. He also mentioned that although a request had been made to the President's Secretariat for information related to these agreements under the Right to Information Act, the information officer at the President's Secretariat had said that the President had not signed such agreements and therefore copies were not available. Subsequently, Deputy Solicitor General Nirmalan Vigneshwaram, appearing for the Attorney General, submitted to the court that it is normal procedure to obtain cabinet approval when entering into such agreements. The Deputy Solicitor General pointed out that the cabinet consists of members of Parliament who would be aware of these agreements. He said that the petitioners' claim that the agreements were not submitted for parliamentary approval was baseless. He further pointed out that under Article 157 of the Constitution, only agreements with foreign states on investment and double taxation agreements must be submitted to Parliament, and that it is not mandatory to submit such memoranda of understanding to Parliament. He said that although the President is accountable to Parliament under Article 42 of the Constitution, there is no provision that requires all information received by the President to be submitted to Parliament. He pointed out that if information on an agreement is required, Parliament has the power to summon it, and that this had not happened in this case. Therefore, the Deputy Solicitor General requested the court to dismiss the petitions without hearing them, as they did not contain a reasonable legal basis to intervene in the case. After considering the arguments of both parties, the Supreme Court rejected the petition without a hearing.
Case filed. The money laundering case filed against former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's son Yoshitha Rajapaksa and his grandmother Daisy Forrest was postponed until the 29th of October. Case filed.
The Colombo High Court has postponed the hearing of the money laundering case filed against Yoshitha Rajapaksa, son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and his grandmother Daisy Forrest to the 29th of October. The postponement was due to the unavailability of High Court Judge Pradeep Aberatna, who is currently on official leave. The case was scheduled for hearing today. The Attorney General has filed 3 charges under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, alleging that between the 31st of March 2009 and the 12th of December 2013, the accused were involved in laundering over 59 million rupees, funds for which they have allegedly failed to provide a legitimate source. The charge relates to the placement of these funds in 3 fixed deposit accounts held at private banks, which prosecutors claim constitutes an offence under anti-money laundering laws.
Case filed.
Mahara Magistrate Kanchana Silva today ordered the continued remand of former State Minister Prasanna Ranavira and 2 other suspects until the 18th of August in connection with an alleged land fraud case. A decision regarding the bail application submitted to the High Court will be made on the 21st of August. The suspects were arrested over claims that they had fabricated documents to illegally sell a plot of government-owned land in the Kiribati area. General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Sagara Kariyavasam says steps should be taken to ensure a former president can live securely and without threats following retirement, since the president must make decisions that compromise their families and future. The General Secretary of the SLPP made these comments during a media briefing held at the party headquarters today.
ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් තමන්ගේ කටයුතු කරද්දී
when a president is in office, they have to make decisions that require them to set aside their own future and the future of their family. This results in certain threats being made to the president. That is why democratic countries and heads of state around the world are provided the necessary facilities for them to have a secure life following retirement. We are not discussing this issue only considering President Mahinda Rajapaksa. This is for all who aspire to be the president of the country in the future. If the government fails to provide this, strong and capable leaders who are willing to make difficult decisions will not be produced in the country. Different individuals may go to court on this matter in the future and decisions will have to be made. We will have to wait and see how it unfolds. According to the constitution of the country, laws cannot be enacted to have a retrospective effect. Therefore, if he is entitled to a certain privilege by being president, the Supreme Court may consider whether removing that privilege through a subsequent law is in line with the Constitution. This should not be misunderstood as an attempt to protect Mahinda Rajapaksa's privileges in any way. The people of this country are here to protect him. He is not a person who is afraid of anyone.
රැකගන්න එතුමාව බලාගන්න මේ රටේ ජනතාව එතුමාට ආදරය කරන ජනතාව ඉන්නවා. එතුමා එහෙම කිසිවෙකුට බයක පුද්ගලයෙකුත් නෙමෙයි.
Samagi Janabalawege MP Sujit Sanjay Pereira also commented on the reduction of privileges for presidents and lawmakers during a media briefing today.
දැන් ආණ්ඩුව කියනවා ජනාධිපතිවරුන්ගේ තියෙන වරප්‍රසාද සියල්ලම කපාරින්න කැබිනට් තීන්දුව අරගත්ත දැන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට යෝජනාව ගේනවලු.
The government is now saying that a cabinet decision has been made to abolish all presidential privileges and a proposal will be presented to parliament. I was also informed that a proposal has been brought to abolish the pensions of MPs. A majority of MPs were left in an extremely helpless state after retiring from politics. From what we know, for 10 to 15% of them, losing this would not be a problem. They have the ability to live off various income, inherited assets and property. However, for the majority, as far as I know, this is not a viable option. If they proceed with this, what happens is that this paves the way for them to earn money in various other ways. What I have to say is that there is no need to give them a palace, bungalow and so on. But for certain presidents who made certain decisions and intervened during the war, a house in a secure location should be provided to them. Despite making certain mistakes, they have also rendered certain services for the country. What contribution is made to uplift this country's economy by increasing an MP's meal to 2,000 rupees or by taking away an MP's pension? Let's wait for another 3 or 4 years and then see what kind of development they have achieved by making these cuts. We will see then.
දැන් මේවා වියදම් කරලා අපල අපි අවුරුදු 3-4ක් ගියාට පස්සේ බලමු මොකද්ද මේවා අපල දාලා මේගොල්ලෝ අත් කරලා දීලා තියෙන සංවාදනය මොකද්ද කියලා බලමුකෝ අපි එදාට.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala says a comprehensive investigation is underway into an incident where Kehel Badra Padme, who is known to be a leader of an organized criminal gang, had made death threats via a phone call to Chief Inspector Linton Silva, the OIC of the Western Province North Crimes Division.
A 39-year-old identified as Gampahadeva, said to be a close associate of Kehel Badra Padme, was arrested by the Katunayake Airport Criminal Investigation Unit yesterday. The police stated that the suspect had met Kehel Badra Padme on several occasions in Russia and Thailand. Authorities suspect that he may have attempted to travel to Thailand, this time as well with the intention of meeting him. After the Airport Criminal Investigation Unit handed over the suspect to the Western Province North Crimes Division, the officer searched a hotel premises in Kehel Badara, Minnuwangoda with the suspect. The police said that 9 T56 bullets and 440 grams of heroin were found there. Police have now commenced investigations into a phone call allegedly made by Kehel Badara Padme to the OIC of the Western Province North Crime Division, Linton De Silva.
Hello, hello. Then I again. Oh. Ari. Oh. Ari විදියට කරේ. උපාල් ජයසිංහ මහත්තයත් එක්ක දෙයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒකත් ඒ විදියට බලා ගන්න. ඉන්න ඒකෙන් තමුසේ මොකද්ද හිතන්නේ? නෑ ළමයෙක් ගැන කියලා මොකද්ද කියන්නේ ඔය? ළමයෙක් ගැන කියලා මොකද්ද කෙරෙන්න ඕන කියන්නකෝ. අපිත් බය නෑ. අපි හැබැයි මේ ඉඳන් රටේ ඉඳන් හරි ඒව කරන්න. හරි. තමුසේ හිතන්න එපා මේ තමුසේගේ මරණ වාරයේදී උට මම බය වෙයි කියලා. නැතුව ලංකාවට වෙලා කතා කරමු අපි දෙන්න. නීතිය තමයි ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ. FR එක දාන රෙද්දා දාගන්නවා. ඒක මම ගැල්ලුවන්නේ. දේට්ටුව කඩන් ගිහිල්ලා කරපු රාජකාරිය තව ටිකකින් පෙන්නනවා.
The arrested suspect Gampahadeva is currently being held under a detention order and is being interrogated.
Colombo Chief Magistrate Thanuja Lakmali today ordered the remand of a woman who allegedly attempted to carry drugs into the Colombo Chief Magistrate's court premises until the 12th of this month.
This morning, a female suspect was searched at the security checkpoint for individuals entering the Colombo Chief Magistrate's court premises. During the search, police discovered 400 milligrams of cannabis mixed drugs concealed on her body. Police said that the woman, a resident of Keselvatta, had arrived at the court premises to pay a fine. The suspect was later taken into custody by the Keselvatta police. After being produced before court, Colombo Chief Magistrate Thanuja Lakmali ordered that she be remanded until the 12th of this month.
Newsfirst, with the people.
Purna Satyajit Alhakon, the former vice chairman of the Beruwala Youth Council, has been released on police bail following his arrest in connection with a tense incident during the Kalutara District Youth Society elections. Alhakon was taken into custody by Kalutara South Police yesterday afternoon.
The Kalutara District Youth Society elections of the National Youth Services Council were held yesterday. It was held at the Kalutara District Secretariat Auditorium. Prior to the event commencing, former Vice President of the Beruwala Youth Council, Purna Satyajit Alhakon, arrived at the venue. A heated situation arose shortly after. A person was taken into police custody there. The former vice chairman of the Beruwala Youth Council, Purna Satyajit Alhakon, who was arrested by the police, was later released on police bail by the Kalutara South Police.
There is a minister in the country. The minister has a role to make charters for the youth of the country, to make plans for the future. Putting all that aside, he is dragging the ministers of the country, the Pradesh Sabha members, the parliament MPs, and is influencing the youth councils. Under the NPP government, they are politicizing these youth councils and are trying to infiltrate those with their henchmen and slaves. What they are doing now is working towards the target of developing the SYU, or the Student Union.
We Are the Future Youth Movement, addressing a press conference in Colombo today, alleged that youth community organizations are being politicized.
Today, along with establishing youth councils on grassroots level, steps are being taken to convert young people into NPP supporters. There is no benefit to the country, yet they are trying to turn this into a political show by targeting young people. Under the NPP, a youth society apparently cannot be formed without the presence of the electoral MP. This was never the case before. So what exactly is happening now? Today, this government is using this program as a means to politicize the youth.
The Young Generation Youth Wing of the Second Generation Organization also held a media briefing today to express their views on the matter.
The previous government also did this. In fact, organizations like the Nil Balakaya and Tarunyate Hetak have now come to the fore. If the Youth Services Council wanted to take this forward in the right way, they should have brought all of them together and done this work. The youth who were in the Youth Services Council that started in the village are now on opposite sides. We would like to ask, is this what the government led by the NPP wanted to do? These young people will be the ones who will take over the future of this country. Then, if they are already politicized and divided into two sides and are killing each other, what situation will arise? Therefore, please allow the Youth Services Council that was independent to continue as it was.
What is happening inside youth societies? Deputy Minister Eranga Gunasekara expressed his views about the matter today.
After our government came to power, the youth society process had become inactive due to various political reasons. So we wanted to especially reactivate the youth society process. To do that, on the 23rd May, on the National Youth Day, we informed our ministry and everyone at the National Youth Services Council. We invited the youth of this country to join these youth societies in the nearly 14,002 active Grama Niladhari divisions across all 25 districts of Sri Lanka. We are happy to say that for the first time in Sri Lanka, we have now finished creating youth clubs that have gathered more than 91% of young people, over 12,700 youth clubs. Nearly 300,000 young people have connected through these youth clubs. After a gap of 5 years since 2020, district federations have now been established in every district of Sri Lanka. However, what's happened is that some of the defeated groups, based on the information we have found, are some young men and women who ran for local government elections from various political parties. We think there's nothing wrong with that. Anyone has a right to run for election in those main political currents. But after they lose, they try to create an opinion and a political agenda agenda that says this is just another political group trying to seize power. So it's very clear, this is a specific election. In that election, where some lose, they should accept that defeat and work with the elected young people to move forward. But it seems the opposition has lost its way, or maybe some opposition groups are just waiting for something to fail. They are using some of these young people, some of whom are connected with political parties, which is their right, and there's no problem with that, to try and create a different narrative. We think that's a very wrong and false narrative.
ඒවත් අරගෙන යම් විදිහේ වෙන මතයක් හදන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. අපි හිතනවා ඒක ඉතාමත් වැරදි බොරු මතයක්.
The Colombo Stock Exchange's all-share price index surpassed the 20,000 point milestone today, reaching 20,000.67 units. The index saw a gain of 86.42 points, marking a significant achievement for the market.
For the first time in the history, the Colombo Stock Exchange all-share price index crossed the 20,000 mark, signaling a major milestone in the Sri Lankan capital market journey. This reflects growing investor confidence, improved macroeconomic stability and strong participation across key market segments. The all-share price index closed today at 19,786 after gaining 20,000 plus points during the session. The S&P SL 20 index also closed at 5,862. Market momentum has been steadily building in the recent months, backed by the improved corporate earnings, macroeconomic stability and increased institutional participation. Crossing the 20,000 mark is more than just a number, it's a reflection of confidence returning to the Sri Lanka's equity market. With positive earnings forecast and rising turnover, we believe this could be the start of a new growth phase for the Colombo Stock Exchange.
The first Randoli procession of the Kandy Asala Festival commenced its parade this evening. The procession commenced at the auspicious time of 6:52 p.m. Leading the casket procession was Indiraja, the chief tusker of the Temple of the Sacred Truth's elephant herd. Pulatisi Raja and Burumaraja, also from the herd, accompanied Indiraja.
යතරින් ශ්‍රී දළදා මාලිගාවේ එක්පන්තියේ දැනට සිටින අපේ දැවැන්තම ගාම්භීර වූ හසිරාජයාණන් අද දවසේදී මේ ගෞරවනීය කාර්ය සඳහා දායකත්වය ලබා දීමේ පින් මහිමය ලබා ගන්නවා.
The Diyavadana Nilame of the Temple of the Tooth, Pradeep Nilangadala, also participated in today's procession. The final Randori procession of the Kandy Asala Festival is scheduled to parade the streets on Nikinipoya Day on the 8th of August.
Metropolitan College celebrated a major milestone with its 2025 graduation ceremony in Colombo yesterday.
The 2025 graduation ceremony of Metropolitan College marked the academic achievements of 555 graduates in the presence of an esteemed gathering of national and international dignitaries, diplomats, academics and education sector leaders. A host of distinguished personalities graced the occasion, adding prestige and honour to the celebration. Speaking at the event, MP Dr. Harsha De Silva commended the efforts of the current government to bring stability to the economy of the country.
As a nation, we are coming out of the worst economic crisis that we've ever faced. While applauding the efforts of the current government in sticking to the plan that we had mapped out with the IMF and the others, they need to find a fine balance. There's absolutely no room for error. Yes, the economy is stable, but you probably know that we are having the highest rate of poverty in probably since we were born. At 26%, quarter of our population can't find enough money at the end of the month to make ends meet. We need growth in this country. Stability is not going to take us to where we want to go. And to do that, we have to grow our economy 9% year on year, every year. I'm talking real growth after taking inflation out. I mean, the challenge is enormous. In the last 70 odd years, we grew at 9%, perhaps 3 or 4 times. But to continue to grow at 9% year on year is a massive challenge. But we must attempt to get there. Now, the world is unpredictable. Internally, we have issues. Externally, we are in unknown territory, geopolitics and technology. The rules of global trade are being ignored by powerful nations. New rules are made on Truth Social and reposted on X. And I think it depends on whether you're having bogeys or birdies. I think so. So the challenge is really to maneuver the course that is so dynamic.
He also stated that the opposition will support the proposed education reforms if the government ensures that there will be a meaningful public discourse.
When a country is educated, that reflects upon the country's ability to compete with the rest of the world. And in this competitive world, we all must not only think about our private gain, but also our nation. There is a big debate currently on education reform. This country's education system ought to be reformed. We cannot continue with memorizing and regurgitating it at the exam, and then when you start seeing a challenge, running away from that challenge because we lack critical thinking, we lack the ability to go beyond what was taught to us in the textbook. So these reforms, the opposition will support. But the government will have to ensure that there will be a meaningful public discourse. And that ultimately is what will determine whether these reforms will be implemented or not.
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the importance of AI in a fast-changing world.
You would be entering a world that is fast-changing. All your degrees you have got here will have to, your experience will also have to suit a new world that is emerging. The world based on artificial intelligence. AI was not the top as you started the college or when you entered this institution, but AI is going to make the biggest change that we know in the next 20 years. Without AI, you will not go forward. The challenge to our society is how do we adjust to AI? Second will be automation. More and more countries will in the next 20 years move to automation. So these are two areas that you have to certainly keep in mind when you enter the world of work. Thirdly, there are new medicines being discovered, new cures being discovered, and the next 10 years to 20 years, we'll see new medicines, new forms coming out. So all these new discoveries will change the world.
The 2025 graduation ceremony also marked the celebration of 20 years of academic partnership between Metropolitan College and Ghana American University, the largest American-style university in Europe.
The Halsdorf Debates 2025, the oldest and largest inter-university debating tournament in Sri Lanka, was held in Colombo over the weekend.
The Halsdorf Debates, popularly known as HD, is organised by the English Literary Association of Sri Lanka Law College, is the oldest and largest inter-university debating tournament in Sri Lanka. The Halsdorf Debates 2025 were held on the 2nd and 3rd of August with the participation of 42 teams representing 18 universities from across the island, making it the largest Halsdorf debate to ever exist. While eminent lawyer and President's Counsel Dr. K. Kanagiswaran served as the chief guest for the closing ceremony of the event. Dineth Hettiarachchi, the current president of the Debaters Council of Sri Lanka, served as the chief adjudicator for the tournament.
Those of you who are going into the field of the law, your debating skills are, of course, will be useful. But at the end of the day, I would suggest that you also learn persuasion, because you are eventually marketing somebody else's case. You appear not for yourself, but somebody else. So debating skills alone might be impressive, but it may not persuade the man who hears the case he may not be as good a debater as you are. So sometimes difficult to control that debating zeal before court. But eventually it will be a matter of persuasion, which means you should have more empathy to the cause of your client and also understand the judge. After all, you are marketing. You must understand the judge first.
Attorney-at-Law Shehan Pereira, Deputy Principal of Sri Lanka Law College, also addressed the debaters, sharing his insights during the event.
Debating helps you to organize your thoughts, your arguments, but more than anything, I think the most important thing is that you see the story, the other person's story. When you formulate your arguments, does somebody play devil's advocate? Basically, you're speaking for the other side. When you do that, you understand the other person's perspective, which I think is something lacking, sir, these days, isn't it? Which allows lawyers to make a lot of money. When there is conflict, there is a lot for a lawyer to do. But at the same time, you may have heard of negotiation, mediation, arbitration. These are also available. So being able to understand the other side is something that a debater is very good at. No matter where you come from, the conditioning, the training that debating gives you will come in handy no matter what you choose to do.
Sri Lanka Law College Team A emerged as champions of the Halsdorp Debates 2025, while the University of Moratuwa Faculty of Engineering emerged as runners-up. Gavin Senaratna from the University of Moratuwa Faculty of Engineering emerged as the best speaker of the tournament for the third consecutive year in the running, while Shavika Samaravira of the University of Colombo Faculty of Arts secured the Best Speaker Runner-Up award. The Institute of Chemistry of Ceylon emerged as champions in the novice category, while Sajani Jaisingha of the University of Colombo Faculty of Arts emerged as the novice best speaker. In 2024, the Halsdorp Debates became the first university-level tournament to be endorsed by the Debaters Council of Sri Lanka. The Social Creator of the Year Awards 2025 was held in Colombo today, celebrating some of the most influential digital creators across India. India's first international creative festival, the Social Creator of the Year Awards or Sky Awards, was held today at Cinnamon Life at City of Dreams in Colombo. Organized by Gold Coast Films, the Sky Awards bring together content creators from across various fields to recognize their creativity, impact and storytelling. This year, the event featured a special edition by Cinnamon Life, the Life in the Sky Award, spotlighting exceptional creators with a bold vision.
We're just delighted to welcome the Social Creator of the Year Award in Sri Lanka 2025. What an honor to have all these amazing creative personalities here from all walks of life, from businesses to fashion, and just people who create amazing content. This award is a special award. It's incredibly honorable and something which is special. We really have created a place where we celebrate an amazing amount of beautiful talent from all walks of life. And most importantly, in Sri Lanka, for the region, for the international crowd out there, this is going to be an amazing event tonight, but also an incredible place where we're going to continue to drive amazing talent coming over here. So,
Ayubowan, Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for being such a gracious host for us. Second time for the second consecutive year. As you are aware, this is our second edition of Sky Awards. Again, we are doing our award show. We have got the award show here in Sri Lanka primarily because we feel so happy and so privileged in this beautiful island country. It's so, I mean, the hospitality is next level. Also, it starts the moment you step onto the airport. The way people greet you, the way people treat the tourists here, I mean, I have traveled so much around the world, but there is nothing that matches the Sri Lankan hospitality as well as the Sri Lankan cuisine. So needless to say, we all like Sri Lankan food as well. To be honest, I would like to do the third season here as well, because now I don't know which is the other destination where I can get so much of comfort. And when you are doing such a big award show, 50, 60 celebrities are with you, too many things can go wrong. So, but the calmness that the country brings in to this entire event has really helped us out.
Following the success of Season 1, the Sky Awards returned to Sri Lanka for a second edition this year. The Israeli military killed at least 92 Palestinians across the Gaza Strip on Sunday, including 56 people who were waiting for food aid. At the same time, an Israeli opposition figure says Netanyahu sacrifices everything to maintain power. Avigdor Lieberman, the leader of Israel's ultra-nationalist Yisrael Beitenu party, has launched a scathing attack on Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing him of dismantling Israel's democratic foundations and isolating the country on the world stage. His remarks come as Netanyahu faces increasing domestic unrest over his handling of the war on Gaza and growing international scrutiny over war crimes and aid obstruction into the besieged enclave. He accused Netanyahu of sacrificing national values for political survival. Tens of thousands of demonstrators have marched across the Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia, calling for peace and aid deliveries in the war-ravaged Gaza Strip, where a humanitarian crisis of man-made starvation has been worsening as a result of Israel's punishing blockade. Pro-Palestinian protesters braved heavy winds and rain on Sunday to march across the bridge, chanting, quote-unquote, "Ceasefire now" and "Free Palestine." Some of those attending the march, which the organizers dubbed quote-unquote March for Humanity, carried pots and pans as symbols of the forced starvation racking Gaza. Australian police said that up to 90,000 people had attended the protest, while the organizer, Palestine Action Group Sydney, said on social media that as many as 300,000 people may have marched. Marchers ranged from the elderly to families with young children. Among them was WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who did not address the crowd or speak to the media. At least 175 people, including 93 children, have died of starvation and malnutrition across the territory since Israel launched its war on Gaza after the Hamas-led attacks on southern Israel in October 2023.
A group of countries that are part of the OPEC Plus alliance of oil exporting countries has agreed to boost oil production, a move some believe could lower oil and gasoline prices, citing a steady global economic outlook and low oil inventories. The group met virtually on Sunday and announced that 8 of its member countries would increase oil production by 540,000 barrels per day in September.
The countries boosting output, including Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iraq, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Kazakhstan, Algeria, and Oman, had been participating in voluntary production cuts, initially made in November, which were scheduled to be phased out by September 2026. The announcement means the voluntary production cuts will end ahead of schedule. The move follows an OPEC Plus decision in July to boost production by 548,000 barrels per day in August. OPEC said the production adjustments may be paused or reversed as market conditions evolve. When production increases, oil and gasoline prices may fall. But Brent crude oil, which is considered a global benchmark, has been trading near $70 per barrel, which could be due to a potential loss of Russian oil on the market and a large rise in crude inventories in China.
The Krasheninnikov volcano, located in Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula, has erupted for the first time in recorded history, following a powerful 8.8 magnitude offshore earthquake that struck the region last week. The eruption occurred on Sunday, sending a towering 6,000-meter ash plume into the sky from the 1,856-meter high stratovolcano.
This is the first historic eruption of Krushennikov in over 600 years. While fumarolic activity was last recorded in 1963, the last known lava flow dates back to around 1463, making this eruption a rare and significant geological event. The eruption follows a devastating undersea earthquake on the 30th of July which triggered tsunami alerts and evacuations across the Pacific Rim. Scientists are now investigating whether the seismic activity may have directly influenced the volcano's reawakening.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
night.